All right. It says we're live. So let me refresh here. It should be showing well on the Bootstrap Dreams page. All right. Good people. Good people. We're just getting ourselves together here. Technology. And if you've watched Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams, well, you know me. So we're going to make it public, make sure we can catch on, make sure we can acknowledge you when you hop on live. Go ahead and live squad, hashtag live squad. And when you hop in on the replay, hashtag replay. Let me blow this screen up right quick. All right. Kevin,
Hello.
would you like to make your valuable introduction?
All right. So, you want me to go first or you going first? This is your crowd.
You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Kevin Scott. I'm Kevin Scott. I'm the CEO and founder of Build Your Wings Consulting LLC. And what I do is I help co-parents transform into better communicators for themselves and their children. And the reason I'm in this lane is because I've been a co-parent for almost over 20 some odd years of my life. And I have a passion for helping people. And co-parenting is one thing that I've been doing for so long. And I felt the Lord put it on my heart to be able to help other people communicate better, because Lord knows I needed help a long time ago. And I'm in the position now to help other people. And that's what I do.
Isn't that amazing? Can we just get some thumbs up in the chat for how great melanin is? You said you've been a parent for how long, Kevin?
Well, our oldest daughter is 30, and our youngest.
In what world?
Huh?
In what world?
This world.
Right? I love melanin. We age gracefully. This is beautiful. People, take care of yourselves, right?
I was about to say something don't crack, but I left it alone. I'll leave it alone.
Black don't crack. Okay. Now, if you're not careful, it can. But if you're mindful, it's got some elasticity. It'll do you good. All right. we put that out there. Just in case anybody's wondering, right? Because people may be looking and thinking, well, co-parents, like these people look so young. Surely they could not have been co-parenting long enough to express anything. Look, well, you can have a 1-month-old baby and learn something, okay? But Kevin comes with so much experience, right? Expertise, if you like that word out there in the world. And he is using his life, his journey to share this amazing experience and help other parents do it well. And Kevin and I came in contact through Instagram.
Yes, we did.
When he caught one, every now and then you all will find that I will share my parenting journey as a co-parent, right? A mom by way of divorce. And being a single mom is something I'm still learning to embrace, right? It's not something that it's like, oh yeah. I'm like, this wasn't part of the plan, but that's okay. We're going to move through it. And I was sharing how holidays hit different when you are a co-parent, right? And you may be, marital parents, and it hit different because of a loss or, a grief or some type of disappointment. Okay. But I was sharing my little story about how over Thanksgiving, it was my daughter's holiday to be with her dad. And Kevin happened to catch wind of it on Instagram, and we've been in connection ever since. And you guys, he posts some of the most amazing parenting, co-parenting content. And what I love about it is that it's from a man's perspective. Can we give a round of applause? Give Kevin some hearts for a man's perspective on co-parenting, right? Because often you hear it from the women, right? And the load is carried by the women. Yet I will say, in my journey through becoming a co-parent, I have been blessed to meet some amazing men who either had full custody of their children, right? Or they were being absolutely equitable in their parenting relationship. And even I have been blessed where my child's father is being a wonderful father, and our daughter's, right, child life experience. And so we're really passionate about this. And so if you're watching, if you know someone who's a co-parent and can benefit, please share. Please tag them in so they can get in on this goodness. And then make sure you go to Instagram, follow Kevin so you can get so much more of this. All right, Kevin. So let's start this conversation. So the first thing I like to ask each guest that comes on this show, and I'm going to ask you today, and this is the only scripted question that I have, folks. When you hear the word transcend, what comes to mind?
That means growing. To me, that means you're growing from one thing to the next. And so that's a powerful word because, you know, even in the co-parenting lane, that's because I like to make everything relevant to what I speak on. And transcending, you imagine how was this journey with you when you started co-parenting to where you at now? You know, are you stuck in the same place you were at, or have you grown from the things that you've learned? Because if not, you're just stuck. And so transcend is a powerful word, and I appreciate that word. And I mean, I know you said it was going to be a scripted question, but it made me start thinking. I'm already thinking about one of my next videos.
Hey, listen, run with it, okay? Run with it, because that's what it's about. Like, if it's your first time tuning into Transcend, well, what is Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams? Transcend is about overcoming life disappointments, right? Things happen, whether they happen to you or whether they've happened by the cause of you. There are disappointments in life that are inevitable, but it doesn't mean we have to stop living. It doesn't mean that we have to lie complacent and just, you know, be content with existing. We can be thriving and not just surviving through anything if we choose to make going forward our reality. And so Transcend is about everyday people, right? Having good-hearted conversations, sharing their experience, because we don't have to suffer alone in silence, right? Like I tell people, when I was going through my divorce, it was very public, it was very devastating, and it was absolutely humiliating. Yet I still was able to stand on my feet by grace, right? By faith, family, you know, community, ministry, counseling, all those things came into play to help me show up and be the best woman, the best mom, and, you know, whatever else I needed to be at the time while I was doing and still evolving, right? In who I am now in this side of womanhood. And so Transcend is about coming together and showing one another, you can do this. And it may be happening to you, but it doesn't have to define you. And you may not see it happening to anybody else, but that's because not enough people are talking. You're not the only one struggling with something. Okay. So that's Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. Bootstrap Dreams is my company. But right now we're talking about effective co-parenting, communications, do's and don'ts. Yes. Let's go. Where do you want to start? Wherever you want to start.
I'm going to take it back to something you just said. And it's a serious issue because you said suffering and what? Silence. And as co-parents, a lot of us think that we can do it by ourselves, or we're learning from someone else who's had a bad experience. And so guess what happens? You repeat the cycle. Just because someone's having a bad experience with their co-parent, their partner, whoever it is, doesn't mean that you have to have that same one. And you cannot move forward if you're stuck looking backwards at what happened to you in your past. Because far too many times we get stuck in our past and we dwell on those things, and you'd be amazed how much better your life would be if you just go ahead and turn around and go forward and stop looking backwards. I've never seen somebody go forward looking backwards. Because think about it, if you're looking backwards, and if you actually turn around and go backwards, you're still going backwards. Even if you're going in the direction you want to go in, you're still going backwards. And so I make it intentional that anytime I speak to people, anytime I post a video, anytime I'm doing coaching, I give people a call to action, because I don't want to just throw out gems and good quotes. No, I want you to go to the next level. I'm going to give you something that can help you get out of that situation that you're in. I don't know who I'm talking to out there, but I know I'm talking to someone because someone's gone through these things.
That's right. And you said something so significant, right? Because we're both coaches in our respectful spaces. And I have a consultant that says coaching, no matter how exciting it may be, will get you nowhere without an actionable strategy. And I was like, come on. Yeah. That's what, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype and the fun and the excitement. And then you walk away still wondering, Well, what do I do next? Where do I go from here? Like, you know what I mean? It's like a concert. Yeah. When it's on, it's on. And then when it's over. But life isn't.
No.
So you want to be motivated. You want to be inspired. You want something significant, but you need a practical strategy. You need an action plan. You need to get real and honest with yourself and the person that you're dealing with so you can figure out how to do what Kevin said, go forward. All right. So co-parents, those of you who are watching with us and you're ready to go forward, please put go forward in the chat, right? That's not signifying that anything is perfect. That's not signifying that things are all bad. That is just acknowledging I am committed to going forward. Come on, Kevin.
I just want people to understand, especially, and someone told me once before, they said the information I put out there, you know, it can be tailored to regular people too. It doesn't just have to be co-parents. It can be a regular parent. It can be somebody who's single. And I'm just trying to give people tweaks on how they communicate with people. You know, I have my do's and don'ts out there, and it's common sense type things. But one thing we always learn is common sense ain't that common.
Listen, why is that phrase?
Well, because of the fact that we're all raised differently. We're all wired differently. And, you know, and so how I react to things, you think that somebody would say, well, why did he blow up and get upset? I mean, it was just a statement. However, it might be a trigger point that something from my past has caused me to snap or to react a certain way because something happens to me. And, you know, I just try to get people, you know, part of my coaching is I have the co-parents take a DISC assessment so they can figure out why are they wired the way they are and why do they react the way they react to certain things. You know, because when we get, you know, when things are going good, oh, we're great. We're solid. You know, everything's wonderful.
Yes.
But soon as hard times come or anxiety kicks in or something stressful hits, your true self comes out.
Yes.
And you fail to realize that.
And what does Dr. Martin Luther King say? It's in the time of adversity. That's when it's not time to lose your integrity.
Yes.
Because people often want to act, right, or react on their feelings.
Where am I to go? Look at you.
Right? And that's what gets us in trouble, right? I'm not pointing my fingers out because I am not exempt. I am also human, right? I like to share that all the time. Just because I teach it doesn't mean I don't have to work on it, right?
That's right.
And so whenever we do have adversities in life, that is not the time to lose your integrity. I mean, that is the time to put your best boots on.
Yeah,
that is when you want to be collecting receipts. Come on, Kevin, what you gonna say?
And that's where a lot of people don't understand. And that's why it doesn't happen overnight, because guess what? You didn't get to this position overnight. Something happened that caused you to be where you at. Something happened that caused you to act the way you act. And so you think about it from this standpoint. When somebody touches on or somebody pushes your buttons, and sometimes people do that intentionally. And you have to be aware, have the self-awareness and know when somebody's intentionally trying to push your buttons. Because what happens is if that person knows that they can push your buttons, they have that much more control over you. And, you know, it used to happen to me. And I know it used to happen to me and that's why I can speak on these type of things, because my daughter, one of my trigger points was someone telling me to calm down.
Ooh.
And I was calm. In my mind, I'm calm. When someone tells you to calm down and then they say, I know it's going to make you upset. That's why I said that.
I'm going to put this up there so people can see. He or she who angers you controls you. That's a scripture too. You can go look it up yourself. But it's... Look, it's real, right? Because we're responsible for ourselves. We can't control what anybody else is going to do, but we can certainly control how we respond to them.
You sound like you read one of my books. Look at you.
Listen, Kevin, I've been tapping in now. Yo, I'm telling you, Kevin's content is great, but life, right? If you're really intentional about living and you want to learn from your lessons, these are things that you pick up. And you recognize, you know what, I can't change that person. Nothing I can do, nothing I'm going to say is going to change them. They have to want to change.
Yes.
But I can change my response.
Yes, you can.
Right? And when you stop reasoning with fools.
You better go ahead now. Look at you.
Your reality changes for you.
Yeah, don't be tossing your pearl at swine.
Listen.
Yeah.
Somebody better put that on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm saying you out here trying to better yourself. Yeah, you out here trying to better yourself, and you trying to change the world. But guess what? The world doesn't. You revolve on your own axis. You're spinning. The other person might have stopped, and that's why I start telling co-parents that you cannot control that other co-parent. No matter how hard you try, no matter what your intentions are, you cannot control that other person. You know, when you all broke up or whatever happened in your relationship, you're not together anymore. Once you left. And once your two broke up, that line was severed right there. You can't tell that other person what to do. And some of us try. We try to still control the situation, but it doesn't work. And it doesn't. And you're spinning your wheels trying to make that happen, especially if the other person already has another significant other. So how does that look? You're trying to control that other person's house.
Makes no sense at all.
Nope.
Makes no sense at all.
And that's why I tell people sometimes you got to take a step back before you react. Because what happens is I want you to respond instead of react. And that's why I want you to take a moment before you do something. Because we get so caught up, and that works in real life. That's not just with co-parenting. Someone says something or does something to you, and it causes you to think a certain way. You need to take a moment before let me pause. Let me pause for a minute.
That's right.
Before I say something.
Good.
Yeah,
pauses are very good.
Yeah, there's a power in the pause. There's a power in the pause.
Power in the pause. Kevin, come on with these liners. People, I hope y'all are picking up these gems Kevin is dropping today.
I'm just saying, that's logical and rational thinking. But when we get heated or in a moment where we're trying to be selfish about ourselves and not thinking about our children, we lose all rationality and we go into that realm of what I like to call we go into that selfish zone.
Right.
And we've probably all heard it where someone says, "My child." I'm quite sure it took two of y'all to make that child. And so I've seen it happen. And you know, and I keep my stories, I keep my information gender neutral. I don't want to say what is the mother or the father. I like to say any of the parents, because the bottom line, we're all guilty, and we have to be able to take ownership of things that happen in our lives. Even if you didn't do anything wrong, if you think about the situation, what could you have done to make that situation better? You know, so it's not just that we can't just sit there and point fingers at the other person. We can't just point fingers. And, you know, we have to learn how to communicate, because if we can't communicate, then we might as well just shut off treat it like a business. As I say, if we treat it like a business, and like I posted some other day and it said, at your job, you don't have to like that person. You don't have to love that person, but you still got to do the job. And the job you have as co-parents is raising your children.
Which is stewardship.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Because that child, he or she or them, you know, if you had you're blessed and had multiples at the same time, or you got multiples in general, right? They didn't ask to be here. Okay, they were appointed. I believe divinely they were appointed. But it was the adults, right, who caused their conception, and so we are responsible for stewarding our children. And so, like Kevin talked about, whether you like the person, love the person, hate the person, disgusted by the person, no longer respect the person, respect you enough to show up and be accountable for your children together, right? Like there are so many times where my child's father and I, we will text our daughter, right? Look at our daughter. This might just be sending a single picture. Look at our daughter, not look at my daughter or look at your daughter. Right? Look at our daughter, because she is. It doesn't matter what our situation is now. It doesn't matter how either one of us have moved on now. She is still our child and will forever be our child. And so it's in our best interest as a community to steward our child. So hopefully that encourages somebody out there.
That small thing you just said there. Think about that. You said our child, because when I said a little while ago, I said my child when I'm trying to claim ownership or something. But if somebody says your child when they did something bad,
won't it come out then and be like, look at your kid, look at your baby, look at your son, look at your daughter, right? Because you want to deflect, like that's not my gene, that's your gene, right?
Yes, that's communication side. And we don't understand sometimes those small little things. You never know how the other person may receive that.
Right.
And you know, my daughter used to always say, "Yeah, I don't receive that." Like, so we have to be careful with our words because we know what's in the tongue, life and death.
Yes. So let's talk about, this is a wonderful segue into the communication, co-parenting communication, do's and don'ts, right? Yes. So let's get into those nuances.
Okay. Well, I ran across this one time when I started thinking about things that people say and the things that they do, how it can affect the relationship. And, you know, we might be stuck in our ways and we do things and for so long till we become used to doing them. So that becomes the norm. And so imagine from this standpoint, if you're always telling me no, I'm never going to ask you a question. I already know the answer is going to be. But what if I took a moment to myself and took a step back and say, how are my words affecting this other person? How are my actions affecting the other person? And, you know, it's almost like I point back and say, we don't have to like the other person, but we have to get along. We have to work together for the betterment of our children, because they, like you said, they didn't ask to be here, but we still, you know, and if he can't trust us with the small things, how's he going to trust us with the big ones? And those children, as they're growing up, they are like sponges. They are absorbing everything. You know, we don't, one of the big don'ts, we don't involve our children in adult issues.
Right.
Because sometimes we talk to our kids like they're our friends. Or we start saying things to our kids that since we don't have anybody to bounce anything off of, we bounce it off our children. So imagine a 6-year-old getting that information and they're growing up too fast.
Right. And it happens. It does happen. And what comes to mind, I'm sorry, I have an echo.
You're fine on my end.
Okay.
Yeah.
In systemic training for effective parenting, STEP, it's a program. Check it out in your local county school district and see if it's available for you. It's free, right? Free gym. And it's a program called STEP, and they talk about effective parenting and how parents, and a lot of it is generational, right? Like as generationals progress, we become progressive in our intellect. And so we're a little bit more mindful about what we say and what we do. And because now we have all of these programs and coaching and things that say, see that, catch that, and course correct that language, right? Or course correct that deflection. When we say things against the child's parent, whether it's the mother or the father, we are also crippling our perception of our child's identity. Because that child is a makeup of us, right? Yes. So if you be like, your mama raggedy, or your daddy, you know, is bootleg, whatever the case may be, the child, there comes a point in time where the child starts thinking, well, I love mommy, and my raggedy like mommy too, because I'm like mommy. Because they look at us and they reflect us, they emulate us, you know what I mean? They take their identity on in us, not just in the name that we give them, but in our environment, our daily behavior, the words we say, our body language, how we dress, how we think, what we want to eat. We influence them. And when we throw discord towards the other parent, it cripples the child's perception of his or herself as well. If you think you're being cute, or you think you're being snide, or you think you're being slick, and then next thing you know, you're going to be needing to call a play therapist because your child is having to deal with, and I'm speaking from experience, not in the sense that these are language things that we've had happen, but because of blended family dynamics, right? And child age differences, we have intervened and have had child play therapy with our daughter to make sure that she's not perceiving things incorrectly.
I understand.
Right. And it can never start too early. And so our motto is, the better we can be as adults, the better chance our children have as coming up to be sustainable adults. And I take it from former FLOTUS, right? Former FLOTUS Michelle Obama says, I'm not raising babies.
That's right.
I'm raising contributable adults to society.
Yeah.
That's the hope, right? I can't guarantee what her future is going to be, but I know what my prayers are and I know what my intentions are. And that's why we work together so diligently to make sure we give our community the best that we can possibly give it. So be mindful, as Kevin said, I'm going to put it back up here. Consider how your words affect the other person, not just the adult, but the child, right? That is a mere casualty of circumstance so often. but has to deal with it because of the adults' decisions. Excuse me, y'all. The adults' decisions are not isolated. All right, Kevin, what's another one?
Oh no. Well, yeah, because I was about to say something else on that, because we always talk about generational curses. And you imagine if there was nothing put on you and you started it, you started saying things to your child about the other parent, right? And it was in earshot. And so that child grows up with that mentality. So when that child grows up and they get married or have a child, or something happens and they split up with their spouse, and imagine the cycle repeating itself because of what they saw and grew up with. And we have to be cognizant of that, because it's not just us that we are affecting. It's that child too. And that, like you said, the child didn't ask to be here, which takes me to this next one. We should not be talking negatively about the other parent to our children. That is important, because going back to what you just said there, how is that going to affect the child? And I think I shot a video on this talking about the same situation, where we start talking about, for example, what if I use my child as a spy? And you say, what do you say? What do you mean? I mean this right here. When you go over to your mom and your dad's house, when you come back, I'm gonna ask you, tell me what they're doing over there, or what they're feeding you over there, what they're eating. Right. You know, they got a new car, or she got another boyfriend. You know, and the child is like, what is this? And they're gonna ask. You know, they start crying, or they answer you honestly and keep it moving, and you use that as ammo. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Those days are over. Yeah. You don't have the right to that information. But we find ourselves doing that sometimes as co-parents, and sometimes it might be just real subtle, and we ask a question, and we have to be aware that what we're saying to our children, because it affects them. You know, because like one of our kids is 28, and she flat out told me one time, she said, I was so glad when you and mom got a divorce. Ooh. She said, because I know y'all were arguing all the time. We heard you. And so you don't know how you affect your children until they grow up, as they grow up and they actually have conversation with you until they're grown. And, you know, that meant that affected me, because, you know, I was doing the best I could, but at the same time, it was still affecting our children. Right. And, you know, it's the subtle things. We don't think about those type of things, you know, but I don't like dwelling on the negative. And so I'm always going to give people a positive side of the story. And so I always tell people, if you can't communicate with the other parent, then you're going to have to make the effort to try to intentionally schedule time to be able to talk to the other parent. And what do I mean by that? If you can't talk to somebody and you got to treat like a business, then you need to treat like a business. At your job, wherever you're at, if you got to send emails or text messages, sometimes it may be that way. But you have to find a way to communicate. We can't not just talk to somebody or find a way to communicate. Yes, it might be a real hostile or conflict-heavy relationship, but we have to find a way to be the adults in the room and have a conversation. And if the other parent's not going to do it, you have to take the initiative and do it for yourself and your children, because we don't want to say, well, he won't talk to me or she won't talk to me, so I'm not even going to make the effort. Who's that helping? That's not helping anybody. And, you know, we have to be the adults. Somebody has to be a grown up. So
that's rich.
Yeah.
That is so rich. Yeah. What else comes to mind as you think about co-parenting communication, do's and don'ts?
Yes. Well, one of the things I always like to talk about, facts and feelings.
And this is why we get along.
So
this is why you and I get along on these social media threads, because we speak the same language. I'm so grateful for you and your family's experiences.
I've been through it. We get caught up in our feelings, and the facts just basically go to the wayside. We're dealing with things out of issues that we're holding on to, that baggage, we're still carrying that baggage around with us. We're trying to walk down the street holding those big old suitcases when you can be free of that stuff. And I don't want to say just let it go. No, it might be something that happened in your past. And yes, you have the right to remember those type of things because they may have hurt you. However, you cannot go forward holding on to those things, because now you're making judgments based on what happened to you in your past or what the other person did to you. That person may have already changed. Think about it. Think somebody goes to church and they've saved and they're walking in the right path. They're doing the right things, and you're still holding on to something from 10 years ago.
Listen, that person ideally is gone. Okay, like expired. Let it go. What comes to mind now? If they need to send you an invoice, let them know the DM to hit after I ask this question, Kevin. Okay. Facts over feelings. If you can run a couple of examples on how people can pause, right? Take that adult pause to evaluate whether or not you are truly choosing your facts over your feelings. Because some people might not know they might think they're choosing facts, but not really, right?
Yes. For example, I can throw this off the top of my head. Let's say we have an issue with child support. It's always a hot button item. So let's say you have an issue with child support, and you've had an issue with that in the past, and the person may have been slow on it, but maybe they're paying the child support now. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Let's say somebody gets some money, and they get some money, and now they are doing well for themselves. And so now one parent said, well, I want more. And so now it's like, are you dealing out of your feelings because of something that happened in your past? And so are you dealing out of facts? How do you know what's going on in that person's pockets? Maybe that's that person's spouse who has the money. They don't have any money. And so we get caught up with trying to live like the Joneses when we should be worrying about ourselves. What do you need for your child? If the person's providing for your child, then we need to say, okay, everything's going great. I'm not trying to go into somebody else's pockets. But sometimes we get caught up in our feelings and we start wanting to be like somebody else because one of our friends may be having an issue with that. And so we letting that little thing get in our ear. And next thing you know, we're not even dealing with what's in front of us. We're dealing with what's on the side of us and behind us. And so that's an easy one when it comes to co-parenting, because other relationships, money, other relationships, money, visitation,
right?
Visitation. And so, how many times? How many times have we heard those stories about somebody being told to stay away from their daughter, and the father did because the mother or the other father told them to stay away from our child, and so they stayed away. So this child grows up with a baby, and the guy never came around. No excuses. So you're supposed to be in your child's life, but now that's in your mind, and so you don't have anything to do with that person. Well, they may have just followed the rules saying, I was told to stay away. We have to get to the bottom. That's why we have to communicate. That's why it's important for us to communicate, because we can't go through life just wondering and hoping that everything's the way I want it to be. It should be us as a co-parenting unit, and then we make decisions for our child. But sometimes it's just me as a unit by myself, and I want to make the decisions by myself, and I don't care who's around. I'm not going to talk to them the way I want. I'm going to talk to them the way I want to talk to them. So, but.
And sometimes, and we want to be practical here, right? Like sometimes there are, hold on, mom duty. Thank you. Look, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm home with my child. Matter of fact, it's COVID. I'm home with my child anyway. But we want to be practical. So when we're saying like, collaborate, cooperate, communicate with the parent, there will be some time where you will have to make an executive decision.
Yes.
Right. So we're not saying put the child's life at risk because you can't come to an agreement. There are resources for that. Yes. Right. If it gets to that extent, there are resources for that, and you can tap into them. Okay. But what we are saying is do everything you can to have effective communication. Do everything you can to use standard language so that you're hearing one another, so that you are, you're clearly articulating what you mean. If you got to write it out, whatever you can do to clear out the subjectivity. But have the conversations.
What do you think? Say what you got to say, because that's important, because active listening is real important. And I know, because I'm still guilty of that, because my wife would be talking to me and I'm already generating the answer in my head before she even finishes. So am I actually listening, or am I just trying to get the answer out of it because I want to have something to say? It takes us stepping back from a situation, from a conversation, from a conflict, from an argument, to be able to really have a rational train of thought about what was said and what was done. And easier said than done. I'm always going to say it's easier said than done, because I can say these things, I can give you all these nuggets and gems, but until you're caught in that situation, you're not going to know what to do. You know, you just keep on doing what what you've been programmed to do, instead of what you haven't taught yourself or learn how to do. So, yeah.
And you said something so key about learning how to do it, right? Because and especially when things aren't pretty, right? When things are rough, when that separation and stuff is still real fresh and you ailing and aching at the heart, adult pause, right? Yes. Take an adult pause, and so you can address the facts versus how you feel about that, right? Go to your therapist, go to your community, your trusted inner circle, right? Everything ain't for the book. Everything ain't for the gram. Everything ain't, listen, yes, I'm saying ain't. It ain't for all that, okay? Out of respect for you, out of respect for the other parent, the adults, out of respect for the children, your family dynamic. Because guess what? Social media will be here for you today, and they will say bye to you tomorrow.
It sure will.
Right? Your post will be talking today, and they won't say nothing to you tomorrow. But guess who's still going to be around? Your family.
Yep.
Right? Your immediate family, if nothing else. You still got to deal with you. Yep. And you still got to deal with the people that you have to live in community with. So it's best that we get our relationships right with the realness.
Oh, right.
In our lives.
That's what I'm talking about. Know? Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, you're speaking the truth. You're speaking, and that's facts right there. Because bottom line is, if we start living for the hashtag co-parenting goals, you're trying to be like somebody else. And like I said, you don't know what goes on behind that camera. What went on to have that thing take part. You
don't know what took place. To heck with hashtag relationship goals. To heck with hashtag co-parenting goals. Like, listen, have your own goals.
Yes.
Have goals. We're not saying don't have goals. Don't make somebody else's goals, though, your goal. Be inspired. Absolutely. Believe. Like, look at that person and say, you know what? Wow. Like, if they can do that, I can do that too. But don't covet, don't lust for their reality, because you have no idea what it costs them to get to that level of peace, or to get to that level of having, right? Yes. I will never forget, there was an instance, and I will keep it as nameless as possible. But in college, there was an instance where there was a really wonderful person whose mother passed away. And people had a problem with her subsequently after that, riding around in a Mercedes. And it was like, how she's in college, how can she afford a Mercedes? Well, tell me this, would you rather have a Mercedes, or would you rather have your mother living? That was like one of the one thing that she did for herself after she took care of everything else. Right? She took a portion for herself, which was already allocated to her, and got her something nice because she had checked all the boxes.
Yes.
Right? She checked all the boxes. She graduated early. She went on to get her doctorate. She did all the things that a parent could want their child to do. But her mother didn't make it to see it.
Yes.
But you have people that don't know the story, coveting her reality without knowing how much it cost her to be living how she's living. Right? So have goals, be inspired, but be informed. Be informed. Get to know what's behind that inspiration. Get to know what's behind, like, find some truth. But it's got to start with you, right?
Oh, yes.
You. This is so good. What else would you like to drop for the people tonight before we wrap up this segment on co-parenting communication?
We're talking about the adult pause, and I want to drop one thing in there that could help somebody else out.
Right.
And that thing is this right here. If you're finding yourself having a problem communicating with the other co-parent, I don't care if it's let's take it out of the co-parent. Let's say it's just a friend. We go to co-parents and we go to friends. Let's say you're having trouble communicating with that person, and that person might be very demanding. They might be overbearing. No one said you have to answer them right away, and that's the problem we get caught up in right now. We want the instant gratification. We want to be able to, if I'm the person that's demanding of you, I'm crossing over into your boundaries. I want, if I ask for you now, ask something from you now, I want you to give it to me now. I'm being overbearing. However, if I'm the person on the receiving end, I don't have to answer you. You don't owe that to anybody. Yes, out of respect, you want to answer the person, but you just don't want to ignore them. So what I tell some of my clients is this right here. Before you hit send, if you try to reply to a text message or email, give it 24 hours. Yes. If they send that message to you tonight and you're already at wit's end, write what you're going to write, put the phone away, and when you come back to it tomorrow, most of the time, if you were not thinking rationally, you'll look at that email or text message you're about to send, like, oof, glad I didn't send that. And so it gives you a chance to process that, to get your mind right, to become refreshed and renewed before you send something, because it's almost like squeezing that toothpaste out the tube. Yes. You can't put it back in, and so I'm just saying, you can't put it back in. Once it comes out of your mouth, and once it comes out of your fingers, you send it out there into the atmosphere, even if it's on social media, it's even worse. It's not coming back. You can't just hit the delete button.
Yes. So you know what? We had a very valuable. It's so easy to not to do, right? No. Let's take some do. We didn't focus on do.
Yeah. So how many you want? You want me to give you just machine gun them out here and just keep throwing them out there?
Throw them out there. I think you can elaborate enough for people to have an understanding. They can always replay this back if they need a little bit more to marinate on.
Yes. All right. So do your best to try to agree with the other parent when it comes to anything that's related to your children. Because even if you don't agree with, like, for example, if the children are at the other parent's house and how they're raising the children in their house, that's not your call, but you can find a way to have a conversation with the other parent and come on and get on the same page with them. Those type of things go a long way towards setting up better communication in your future. Try not to use the negative words that could cause a conflict, such as you don't know, you never, you can't, I will. Because the bottom line is, according to how those things are said, those might sound like simple words, but with those words, they can have negative connotations. So try to refrain from using those words. And I have something that's coming out shortly, not shortly, a little bit. Ands and buts. Stay away from the word but, because think about it from this standpoint. If I say, hey, you're doing a great job, but, that just negated everything you said prior to the but. So if you try to force yourself to use the word and, it goes a long way. So you're doing a great job and whatever it is you want to say, because that makes the other person feel like they can better receive the messages that are coming from you. We try to stay away from those trigger words. Another word is try. Stay away from the word try, because trying is almost like it's almost like an afterthought. Well, I'll try. No, we don't want to try. Let's say I will make an effort to do that, because let's say the other parent has a child and there's something you're supposed to do, and you say, well, okay, I'll try to make it. To me, that goes off as something like as pushed to the side. Either you are or you're not. So look at it from that standpoint. We try to do everything we can do for the betterment of our children. And so one of the biggest do's I can say is do not be selfish when it comes to how you are going to raise the child. Take the consult from the other parent and have a conversation, or have some kind of message go back and forth so we can keep the other parent involved. Try your best to keep the other parent involved. I know somebody said that might be too much information. What grades do they get in school? Even if you are making the effort and you're giving that information to the other parent, that goes a long way, because they can't say you didn't do that. So do what you can to basically, I had a pastor who always told me, over communicate. There's nothing wrong with that. Give as much information as you can, to show that you are trying to help out the situation as opposed to stifle the situation. I know I can keep throwing them out there. I can keep throwing them out there. You're on mute.
Of course I am. Of course. Thank you, Kevin. What I tried to do as you were talking, I went back because again, the natural mind is to think about what don't, but to reinforce what Kevin has expressed, right? Use positive words, right? So this, you do want to use positive words, right? Kevin has expressed that we want to use and instead of but, so that we're not negating whatever was said prior to, right? So do use and instead of but, okay? Do make an effort, right? Don't just say you'll try.
Yeah.
Actually strive and get it done, right? Do make an effort. And the last do Kevin shared was do find ways to be selfless and inclusive.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully that helps give you a better realm of the don'ts that we did previously, and then now looking more positively at the do's.
Yes.
Is that okay, Kevin?
Yeah, that was good. That was great because I can keep going all night. That's the problem. I have to stop because you have to stop me.
Right. Look, now you got to look. Don't give them all the coaching.
No. But, hey, I look at it from this standpoint here. There's somebody there who needs help.
That's true.
And the bottom line is, I do this to help other people. Amen. It's not about me. I can't give all this stuff away because there's so much to give. You know, there's always going to be stuff to help people out. Yeah. And so I'm here to help. You know, if people are running to those issues, I got a webpage out there. You can go to teambyw.com.
Say it again.
Teambyw.com. Teambyw.com. Yeah. Or you can reach me on Instagram at Kevin_L_Scott.
Right. And he's on. He's on the live. No, I was just going to emphasize people. He's on the live, right? So you can hit him up on the live. You can hit him up in the DMs. We will be dropping his links at the end of this conversation. Do check him out on where you want to check, where you want to.
You're going to find me most time on Instagram because Instagram, that's where the big community is at. Unless you're in Clubhouse, because we're going to be starting a show on Clubhouse too coming up.
Can we moderate a room?
Yeah, because that's what I got the same thing from Tawan. Somebody else hit me up and they want to moderate a room in Clubhouse on co-parents and conversations and stuff like that from a male's perspective. I'm like, okay, we can do that.
Listen, because it's so, unfortunately, it's so rare to hear a man speak so candidly about owning his responsibility in parenting, how beneficial cooperating in parenting is going to be, the challenges as well as the blessings, and even the blended family dynamics in parenting. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank your wife. I want to thank your family for being an example, for demonstrating, for living it out so that you can share these real life experiences, right? It's one thing to read about it.
Yeah.
But it's another thing to live it. And again, it doesn't mean that, Kevin or I have 100% of the answer. It's subjective. Mm-hmm. But because there are things that we've gone through, there are things that you've gone through, right? People out there, there are things that you've gone through. You can help someone else, right? Through your experience, as long as you're doing it with the right motive. So
I got one more thing. Can I add something real quick?
You can.
Yeah, if you go to the website under my resources page, you'll see a co-parenting survey. And one thing I always talk to are the pain points of other co-parents, because someone's going through something. And so what I like to do is basically take the information that they give me and I use that in the content that I create, because somebody's going through something. And I'm always going to say that somebody's always going through something and they think it's unique to just them. And it is unique to their situations may be unique to them. However, somebody else out there might have gone through that or maybe experienced something similar. And whatever you're going through, your testimony may be somebody else's triumph. So I want to make sure that I put it out there as best I can. I don't put names on there, but I will speak to it and make a video from it. So just be aware that if you put something out there, I'm going to probably shoot a video based on that situation.
It will be a case study, but it will be anonymous.
Oh, no, no names at all.
No names at all.
It might be a funny video, but I'm not laughing at your situation, but I'm just letting people know this is what's going on out there.
We want people to be able to receive it, right?
Yes.
Because it is not easy. It is not easy. And sometimes it hits harder than others.
Yes.
But we want you to be able to receive it. We want us to continue to be able to receive the goodness that is in our lives and that our children get to experience, because we are choosing, right, to acknowledge that there are things that we can do and that are things that we should strive not to do to be effective parents.
I'm glad you didn't say that other word. I'm glad you didn't say, because you said we can do, and I was saying, don't you say can't. I thought you were going to say can't, because never say what I can't do.
Oh, can do, and that we can strive to do. Hey, look, I work on my serial optimism all the time.
All right.
Well, thank you all so much for watching this week's live, right? Facebook Live on Transcend with Bootstrap Dreams. We had Kevin Scott with Team. What I got about there? BYW, right? Yes. Build Your Wings. That's what you're like. What is the BYW? Build Your Wings. Go check him out at the.com. Please, please, please connect with him on Facebook. If you're on Clubhouse, all right, Apple users, whoop, whoop, right? Go there, listen to what he has to say. Feedback. He loves feedback. And shout out your co-parenting experiences. He will absolutely support it. He's always looking not to just preach at people. He wants to show people we're out here, we're real, and we are living dynamically with effective co-parenting, communicating, right, with one another. Community over competition is a real thing. Yes. Now, I want to invite you all next week. We have another Facebook Live with a special guest. She's very dear to me. Let me get it up there. Ananya Data is going to be the guest next week, talking about being authentically aligned is your gift to the world. Listen, we're still at the top of the new year. You can't get sick of it yet. We just getting started. So it's not too late. If you haven't planned, if you haven't goal planned, if you haven't figured out your alignment, come and join Ananya. She has such an amazing zone of genius that she is going to share from. So join us next week. It'll be at 6 p.m. on Thursday next week. But we look forward to seeing you there. And for our women entrepreneurs out there, join me in results-driven strategies for creative women and entrepreneurs. We go live every Tuesdays with Tawana. Every Thursday, if you're a member of the group, guess what? You can go live. Now, there's not a lot of groups that'll let you do that out here, right? It's all about what the group host says, and that's it. But in our group, we want to encourage you. We want you to get used to speaking and communicating about you, about your story, about your business. Go live, teach, leave key takeaways, and promote yourself at the end. Anything else of value that you want to leave for our community tonight, Kevin?
Treat people like you would want to be treated.
I love that. I love that. That's it. Give Kevin some hearts, give him some likes, give him some thumbs up, leave him some comments and encouragements, and we'll be back. And if you want us to do this again, let us know. We're going to do this again. Let us know, though, what you want to hear about it. How about that? Let us know what you want to hear. Thank you all so much.
All right. Stay safe, be blessed.